guys today. I've broken up small group work into 5 different areas, I guess. Planning, setting the task, forming groups, the actual group work itself, and reporting back to everyone once they've sort of done all the work. Planning is the most important part. There's a proverb that says, "Thou who fails to plan, plans to fail." So planning is extremely important. You have to put a lot of effort into planning. You have to plan the task itself. You have to plan how you're going to make the groups together. You have to plan. You've got to plan for things that can go wrong, because they obviously will. You have to plan how you want the learners to report back to you once they're done, and you have to plan so that it's fun, so that everyone enjoys what they're doing, so that it engages them in wanting to learn within their own little groups. At the beginning, you have to clearly define what you want the students to do. You want to make it so that they know what you want them to do and what you want them to learn as well, so that they get into it and they really get the most out of it as well. You also have to express what your expectations are of them. So you want them to be able to get to a certain level of work or get to a certain level of thinking. So you need to tell them what you want out of them. But don't make it so that it's too hard for them, because then they'll just shut down and not want to do anything. But then don't make it so easy so that they just, don't get involved and get distracted easily. Forming groups. You want to form the groups under your guidance. You want to be the one to control. You don't want them to just go, "Oh, I'm going to team up with my buddies," and then it's easy for them to get distracted. So you want to take control of how the groups are formed. You want to also make sure that the group's the appropriate size, depending on your task as well, what you want them to do. So it could be just pairs of 2s when it comes to doing math problems, in class, discussing how to get to a certain solution. Or if you have a bigger discussion involved, having small groups of like 4 or 5, depending on how you go with that. And time is always an issue. So you have to make sure that you manage the time on selecting the groups and getting them together so that you don't waste too much time with that as well. I'm going to do a little class experiment now. Everyone's got a coloured card and a number on it. What I'm going to do is all those with number 1, can I get you to go over to this table? Number 2s, can I get you to go over to this table? Number 3s to the back one there. 4s to the very back one there. 5s here, hold a sec, just don't move yet. 5s over there. 6s here, 7s here, and 8s here. And 30 seconds to do that, starting now. Six. 10 seconds, guys. Alright, time's up. You can see how having a really good plan of how you want people to do it can help with the time as well. So 30 seconds is pretty good with everyone getting into place. So well done. Okay, now we're going to look at our role as teachers when the work begins. Our role isn't just let them start their work, sit down and YouTube and have a bit of fun like that. Our job now is to sort of facilitate their learning. So we're going to move about the groups, getting feedback, checking to see where they're at and where they've progressed with the tasks that you've asked them. We want to maintain a level of order, a certain degree of order. There's going to be noise, there's going to be volume, people are going to be discussing things. You've got to make sure that they stay on track as well. So you have to encourage them to keep focused on the task at hand. You have to foster the communications and foster group cohesion as well, because you don't want them to start getting too angry at each other when they disagree on a certain point as well. So you want to be able to manage that. Which then links into being wary of things. So, as Tara said, there are certain disadvantages, like I heard someone say, the dominant one. Things like this can be avoided by teaching teaching them how to learn from each other and how to sort of talk to each other. Students get off topic. I mentioned it just before. You know, you have to be sort of roaming around, listening for that, and making sure that you keep them on track with that. Also, keeping the work relevant helps with keeping them focused on the task at hand. I think I've covered everything there. Oh, and also being very clear about your goals. You know, if you're clear, they know what they're supposed to be doing, and then they can focus on what they're supposed to be doing instead of going, oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm not interested anymore. The last thing you need to do is get them to report back to you in some sort of way. So either being quickly going through the groups, checking, you know, what was your results, but keeping it dynamic and keeping it fun. So don't just get repetitive with going around the groups. When you realise that people are being the same, just find out who's different. You know, instead of going, okay, I'm going to get everyone to report, I'm just going to find out that people had different things than what I've already got. Or in the case of a presentation, you know, encourage groups to stand up and use screens and videos and stuff like that. So all that comes in part of the reporting back to you and showing you what they've managed to get out of it. Alright, finally, your task. What I want you to do in your little groups is to write down important things you think are important things that teachers need to do involved in implementing small groups. So if you guys can just write down on your cards and order them in some sort of way, that'd be great.
What, like one on each card?
Exactly. Do you know what to get?
Okay, what I'm actually implementing small group work.
Just figure out things that are
Time management.
Time management? I was going to say preparation. Yeah. Planning and preparation.
Yeah.
Do we write down one each?
Yeah, one each. Okay. One each. So it's one each for everyone, okay?
One idea.
One idea.
Monitoring what the groups are actually doing.
Leaving enough time.
Feedback, time management. Yeah, get them to provide feedback.
Alright, because I'm beginning to run out of time, I'm going to have to get some of you to report back to me. So, we'll start with this group. What was one key thing you guys sort of agreed on?
The identification of the role of each person within the group.
Yep, that's good. That's good. This group here?
Planning.
Planning, excellent. It's very important. You guys?
Keeping the students on task.
Yep, thank you, Ian. Yeah, that's also very important. Yes?
Setting up the groups in the first place.
Setting up the groups, exactly. And I believe that's time for me, so thank you everyone. Good.